Bokida is something special. It's a very difficult game to classify though. It's extremely minimal, extremely open, and has puzzles. It was released for Steam on May 17th, 2017 by Rice Cooker Republic. As far as I can tell, this is their first big release. As I said, Bokida's gameplay is a mix. The main mechanic are the 4 powers used to solve puzzles. 3 of the powers rely on the first one to create blocks. You'll need to create blocks and adjust them for the puzzles throughout. Creating the blocks is fairly straightforward, and the game does allow you to create blocks continuously and quickly. The other powers are cut, push, and clean. These are mainly used to modify the blocks, and they are enjoyable to use. Cutting and pushing the blocks around is easy. With the physics, you can have a lot of fun cutting the blocks up. When I started, I took some time just enjoying cutting up blocks and pushing them around. Since the game is so open-ended, there is no exact way to solve the puzzle. Sometimes you'll be cutting a block a few times, trying to get the right angle correct. It can be a hassle trying to get that exactly cut block to redirect the laser. Sometimes you just can't get that block to cooperate. Overall, the open-ended puzzles are refreshing. I don't feel locked down by the developer's intended solution. The other big part of the gameplay is getting around. It almost feels like you're playing a different game. The puzzles are really far away from each other, so you'll be traveling quite a distance. That's okay. Bokida gives you a high jump, gliding, and sprint. It gives you the sensation you're on an epic journey to solve all the puzzles in the world. With the barren white landscape, you'll be searching for any distant black and trying to make your way over to it. The game has no rules, so you can even use blocks to create your own pathways around the world. I'm having a lot of fun with the system of movement. It's relaxing and you can almost fly. There are almost no markings in the world, so getting lost is easy. So far I've just picked a direction and hoped for the best. It's a minimal game, but I almost think it's too minimal. I left a puzzle because I couldn't figure it out, and I'm not sure how I'm ever going to make it back there. I like exploring the world when it has an obvious way to go. I don't like getting lost. I think the black orbs you collect throughout could have been used to lead you where you need to go. They could have been spaced out in a way that would have been interesting, but also makes it a little easier to know which direction you haven't been yet. One thing I have to squeeze in here is that you do acquire other powers. They were given to me after I completed a few puzzles. I don't want to spoil it here, so I'll leave it at that. Like I said, the game is minimal, almost too minimal. So far, I've encountered only 2 colors in the world, black and white. I can create blue blocks, but it's not naturally occurring. The game has screenshots of the world with more color, and it says you're bringing back the color, but so far I haven't achieved it. Almost all of the world's platforms are white, and that can make it difficult to differentiate the platforms. Just a giant white barren world. I wouldn't say that it was a problem, but really make a note of it. You're going to have a high tolerance for minimal design when playing. Luckily, there are clearly defined areas. They're clearly marked when you enter the area by the name appearing in the top right. Even if the name didn't appear, the areas definitely have a distinct feeling. For example, the plains is mainly a white floor that seems to go on and on. So while the platforms sometimes blend together, when you enter an entirely new area, it's obvious. If you like looking around and exploring, having these areas in the game is enjoyable. Let me know if you think this is fair, but I want to compare the openness of this world to Abzu. Abzu had more exploration on a room-to-room basis, but it still feels like a huge world you were exploring. I think Bokida is going for the same feeling, but the world is huge without any directions or any push in one direction. Luckily, so far I've stumbled upon puzzles to complete, but I feel directionless and lost between them. The movement system is fun, but I have this nagging anxiety while traveling. As I mentioned, I think the collectible orbs would have been a good way to drive the players in certain directions. Signposts would have been acceptable as well, as the game already has signs with quotes. Signposting the world could have helped the player get around on their own. Bokida is supposed to be an exploration game, so my desire for a map is probably misplaced. If you're like me and hate getting lost, then Bokida might not be for you. My pet opinion of Bokida is that it's intriguing, but for someone who mainly enjoys the experience of puzzles and exploration. I really liked a lot of aspects of it, but it requires a lot of patience I admit I don't have. I do hope the game does well because it deserves it. Thanks for watching.